Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here today as we update the community on the murders of two women in East Orange County and how our detectives' vigilance may have stopped a potential serial killer. 25-year-old Carlos Yadiel Baez Nieves targeted the most vulnerable women he could target, women who were transient and who traded sex for money. On two separate occasions, about a month apart, he picked up 41-year-old Fatia Flowers and 44-year-old Nicole Daniels, had sex with them, and strangled them to death. Then Baez Nieves drove to an intersection and pushed their lifeless bodies out of his truck. So we're going to give you the warrant affidavits, which have all of the details in there, but I'll give you a few more details about the case. So on March 14th, Fatia Flowers' body was found at the intersection of Trevarthen Road and Harrell Road. So her cause of death was not immediately clear, but it was highly suspicious in nature. And then on April 17th, the body of Nicole Daniels was found in the same location. So through the course of their investigation, detectives were able to uncover a video surveillance that showed Nicole Daniels entering a very distinctive white Ford F-150 pickup truck the night before she was found dead. And this was at a 7-Eleven in the 1700 block of North Econ Trail. That truck was later determined to belong to Baez Nieves, and he was actively trying to sell that truck, no doubt to get rid of it and any evidence in the truck. And our detectives were able to arrest him for driving on a suspended driver's license. He ultimately confessed to our detectives to killing both women. He's currently in the Orange County Jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder. So I'm very confident because of our detectives' relentless efforts in this case that they stopped Baez Nieves from becoming a prolific serial killer. He targeted women who he clearly thought would not be missed. He murdered them and dumped their bodies on the side of the road like they were trash. But very, very grateful and thankful for our great detectives who knew that Fatia's and Nicole's life were meaningful and that they, of course, deserve justice like all of us. So happy to take any questions at this point.
Sheriff, I'm sorry, could you tell us more about the details of who picked them up and then what happened and
Yeah, so a lot of those details will be in the affidavit, but basically, these were women who traded money for sex. He did pick them up on 2 separate occasions, had sex with them, and strangled them, and then dumped their body at the same intersection. And so luckily, our detectives canvassed the area. We talked to many women in that area who knew both victims and knew about their past. They also let us know about a person in this white pickup truck who they thought was acting strange.
Any reason to suspect that he might be responsible for other killings as well?
So anytime we have an incident like this where there's 2 deaths within a month apart, we are certainly looking to see if he may have committed any murders either here or where he's from in Puerto Rico. Typically in these cases, this information is added into a law enforcement database, so other agencies are able to see that we found these 2 bodies, that this suspect is responsible, and this was the manner of the death. And just like we do, they check that database all the time to see if there are any similarities. And certainly we'll work with the FBI as well to see if they know about any similar cases throughout the country, because he's only been here since 2020.
Can you share where he is from in Puerto Rico?
I don't know where from in Puerto Rico, but I know that he came here from Puerto Rico in 2020.
And then you said there's reason to suspect he could have been a serial killer. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, so he killed 2 women in a month's time. So to me, that is the definition of a serial killer, and I think the FBI says 2 or 3, depending on who you ask. But I think this is a person who's clearly capable of doing this and may have done it in the past. And you know, the fact that he targeted women that he thought would not be missed leads you to believe as well that he is a killer and probably would have killed again.
Sheriff, I'm very much further to this question. Your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, anytime someone is killed and so senselessly, you know, just their body just dumped and discarded, you know, it's awful. And so we want to make sure that they get the justice they deserve, their families get the justice that they deserve, and hopefully, you know, he'll never see the light of day.
Were these women from the area?
That's correct. So the women were from this area and from Florida, and had evidence of being involved in this type of trade involving the trading of sex for money.
And these were two separate incidences?
That's correct. Two separate murders, two separate incidents. The thing that links them together is that, you know, he found that, or he dumped them in the exact same location, and the fact that they both, you know, traded sex for money.
Can you describe that location and maybe why you would have picked it?
It's just an intersection. Unclear why he chose that area. So he lives, you know, within a few miles of both where the bodies were dumped and the 7-Eleven as well.
Chip, you were saying that you had a surveillance picture of his truck, is that right?
Yes, so we have video surveillance showing Nicole entering his truck. Through their investigation, detectives were able to tie that truck to Baez Nieves and ultimately spotted him trying to actively sell that vehicle. So they pulled him over. We arrested him for driving without a license, brought him here. He confessed to both murders.
Why were detectives, I think I might have missed this, were detectives watching him for something else, or kind of how did he get on your radar?
So again, his vehicle was identified through the video surveillance. That vehicle through the video surveillance was tied to him. Anytime, you know, we have a case like this, obviously we're going to follow the suspect to see if they, you know, discard any evidence or to see what they're going to do with the vehicle, and make our case stronger and see if this is the guy that we're looking for.
When faced with the evidence you had on him, did he cave immediately, or did he try to deny any connection to the murder?
No, so he ultimately confessed to killing both women.
What did he say, Sheriff? I mean, is there, sorry? Was he-
No, well, in one case he said it was just rough sex, and in the other case he claimed that the woman attacked him first. You know, obviously, you know, he strangled both women and then dumped their bodies out. So, a very strong case against him.
Did he say anything that would indicate he did this other times, or no?
I'm not aware of that.
Sorry if I missed this earlier, but were any next of kin, any relatives identified, or were you all able to track down?
Absolutely, yes. So we have spoken to both families and unfortunately let them know the circumstances of this case.
Sheriff, you indicated that the victim's friends helped with the sex trade.
Yeah, correct. So there are other women in that area who know both of the victims, and some of them had even noticed this white truck and the person in there acting strange.
What does strange mean there? What was he acting like?
I'm not sure. I just know that they were, you know, they said he had acted strangely. So.
You know, and this man is, you know, now not on the streets anymore. Can you talk to what that is like?
Yeah, so very, very thankful that we were able to arrest him, get him off the streets, and, you know, because he's off the streets, you know, our community is safer for that. Again, we're talking about someone who killed 2 women in a month's time, so obviously we're very, very happy that he's behind bars right now and won't do this again.
Were the two women connected to each other in any way, friends?
And just so that they, you know, worked and lived in that same area.
When you say that he targeted people he didn't think would be missed, are those, is that your guess from evidence, or is that something that he said?
No, that's just, you know, yeah, I've been doing this for 33 years, right? So, I think there are people out there who think that, women like this, their lives don't matter, and that they might not have close family ties, and, there's not going to be a sister or a mother on the news, screaming for justice. So, and if you look out, through the history of crimes and stuff, many of these serial killers, target women involved in these same type of circumstances.
You said with much disgust, what he did and how he disposed of it like trash. That seemed like a very deep feeling to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. Our detectives, they're parents. I'm a parent. We all have people in our life, and I can't even imagine losing someone to this type of horrible crime, and to know that their bodies were just discarded like trash. It's awful, and we're just happy that we're able to bring them and their families some justice. Good. All right. Thank you.
We will send you guys electronic copies of everything that you've seen on the screen.